how did you make a tattoo gun and how did you get ink?
I can do that right now. I'm going to be making a video on that shortly, but I'll show you right here. So with these regular file folders right here, you take 2 regular file folders and you take grease like this, and you open up the grease and you take out a little bit of the tip and you use it. You can use like a different type of rope out of the net bag, or you can use tissue, but you wrap it up in the wax and you're making a wick, and then you light the wax. And when you have your little homemade candle up under your bunk burning, it's going to be putting off a lot of black soot. And you're going to set up the 2 file folders like a TP above it, and you want to capture all that soot. And it'll burn, it'll smell a little bit. The cops won't smell it. And as you collect the soot, you'll keep collecting soot, and you scrape it off the file folder until you get about enough to fill up about this much of a shampoo bottle. And then you add your own mixture. Everybody's is different. I made all of this ink. All of this ink I made. And it's just as black as my street ink. This was the street. This was a single needle. This was a 13 mag. This is street ink. And I made this. And you can see this, the Virgin Mary is street ink. And this ink right next to it, the shading I made. So, I mean, it's dark. It might poison you. I don't know. It never affected me. After you collect the soot and you have it in your bottle, some people add lotion. Some people only add shampoo or conditioner. I put a little bit of water, a little bit of vitamin E oil, and a little bit of conditioner, and you shake it up. You get a rock from the yard or something small, some type of small metal ball, and you boil it so that it doesn't have any contaminants in it, and you put it in your shampoo bottle, and you just shake that stuff up for about 24 hours. Just keep whipping it up. When your forearms get to where you can't shake that thing anymore, have your celly shake it, continue that, and that next day it'll be ready. With the tattoo motors, you can use anything from a Norelco face shaver, anything that has a rotary motor or a Walkman. You bust out the Walkman, and all you take is the pancake motor. It's about this big, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking. It looks like a pancake with a pin in the center. And you take that, you take a regular pen tube, and you cut open the pen tube, and you take out the ink, and the part of the pen that has the ink in it, that's going to be your barrel. That's going to keep your needle straight so it's not bouncing around in that big pen. So you're going to heat up the ink and blow all the ink out of your ink pen, and you're going to melt that little ink liner in there just a little bit thinner and stretch it so that it's kind of hollows out that hole from being like a wider gauge to a little smaller. You feed your needle through there. You get your needle. So this spring, any spring that you would see in a lighter, any type of spring, you grab the spring like this and you stretch it out. Well, obviously, if you just pull it, it's not going to be able to, stretch out completely straight if I were to keep it like that. So you grab it on one end with toenail clippers, clean, new toenail clippers, and you hold it on another end, and you pop the socket with 2 pieces of lead. You pop, and you heat it up just enough to where it'll straighten it out. If you heat it too much, it'll break and it'll be too brittle. This little spring, I could make 3 tattoo needles out of. The guns are really small. You make them small normally because it's getting hid somewhere inside of somebody, so it's got to be tiny. They make it, they feed it through. Most people either sharpen it on the concrete or like in a groove on the wall or in the grout. Some people get, some really tiny pieces of sandpaper from maintenance. I was never that blessed, unfortunately, and you just have to keep resharpening the needle. When you can poke the needle like this into your hand, into the tough part of your skin right here on your hand, if you can touch that needle and the needle will dangle and it'll kind of stick into you like that, and it'll just like, whoop, and it'll just kind of dangle, that's when you know it's sharp enough. You can begin tattooing.
There you go. Okay.
There we go. That's how we tattoo. There's multiple other ways. Everyone has their own little cup of tea and how they do it. How we attach the little ink. So what makes the rotary spin is we use the little ink cartridge and we melt the end of it and you poke it on that pin. So when the motor spins, it's pushing that needle up and down, and that's how you're getting your motion. There are individuals, like for this nose, on this girl right here blowing smoke, on her nose, My celly for about 3 days made 2 of these springs into a feathered, like stacked little needle like this, and he melted plastic and braided it, and he made like a little prison style shader, and he just put a little bit of that ink in water, and he just whipped up that gray wash, and people have always been blown away about how smooth that's looked. If you look at right here, or some of the other ink, like right here, it looks like pepper is spilled on my arm. That style of shading is called pepper shading. That's because it's a single needle. When someone is more skilled like this person, it doesn't look like that. But I just want to say, bro, I really appreciate you having me on here. You didn't have to do that, bro. I really support you. I like what you're doing. I watch your little show on there in England. Someone sent me a link, and I really appreciate you, brother, for real.
One final thing. You said tattooing was your hustle. What were the most popular tattoos? What were people requesting you to tattoo?
White boys, skulls, cell structure, and fat asses, guns, people with bandanas or ski masks. The prison special, that's what we call it. Everybody wants to get, everyone wants to get their neighborhood, their last name, and then, obviously political ink. Not anybody can just put, white pride on somebody. Not anybody can tattoo a swastika on anybody. Obviously, those tattoos are earned. I wanted to say real quick for all the England viewers and for all the English viewers, skinheads and peckerwoods are 2 totally different things. Skinheads and woods, we both have white skin, but we sit at different tables. They have their politics. We have ours. If there's a riot, yes, we'll be in that group, but that doesn't mean that every peckerwood is going to defend those dudes. A lot of peckerwoods don't represent at all what the skinheads do. So don't think that just because, someone goes to prison, that they're a skinhead if they're white, because that couldn't be further from the facts. Peckerwoods are just regular white boys that are sticking together, riding together so that we don't get extorted and raped, and we're on some Viking shit. We stick up, we work out, and we're extremely militant so that we don't make a target, and that's the facts.
People are fascinated in England by the fact that you have to put work in to earn your tattoos. Could you just explain a bit more how that works before we finish?
So something simple, I'm going to speak on, our people, and I'm talking about the peckerwoods. First and foremost would be, an iron cross, a simple independent logo. An iron cross used to be a lot more serious than it is now. Now there's a lot of kids coming from the streets that have that, so they kind of give them a pass. An iron cross just pretty much means that you're a down-ass white boy and that you're about it and you're willing to spill blood. You beat up a couple people, some people owed some money, or you smashed a little chomo and you smashed them with hands or something. And then you step up to where, you start stabbing people. Back in the day, you had to earn letter by letter to earn your white pride. Letter by letter, whether it was a chomo or, you had to earn that shit for real. And then you got to, if it's hollow or if it's filled in, those things used to mean a lot, and back in the day in the 60s, 70s, 80s, that held weight. But whether it's black or white in Arizona really doesn't mean too much. What really means something is if it is dripping blood or if it's red. If it's red, that means something different. Then you have white boy. A white boy can't just get white boy tatted on them either. They have to be solid. They have to prove themselves. You can't just get those type of political. You can't get a peckerwood logo like that little Woody Woodpecker. You can't get that. Those are symbolisms, signs that they attach themselves to, that they call their own. And, they represent that to the fullest. There's people that, live, breathe, and are going to die in there. And they're just trying to make it better for youngsters and other young individuals coming up so that they don't get preyed upon like they used to.
So if someone comes in with a swastika and they haven't put the work in, what happens?
They're going to get killed. If it was a skinhead, all right, so this is the big differences. Skinheads earn their swastikas and bolts and their white power and all that shit that they get on the streets by reading Mein Kampf, by reading literature, by, stomping out a drug dealer and getting their laces. They have different politics. It's revolved around something different. Skinheads have to be a skinhead on the street and come to prison. You can't come to prison and be a wood and boot up. Boot up is the term for becoming a skinhead. We call skinheads boots. You can't become a boot in skinhead. Now, a skinhead can hang up his boots and say, I don't want to be a skinhead anymore. I'm going to be a Peckerwood. I'm done with all this racial shit. I want to run with the woods, and I'm a white boy. Are the skinheads going to be happy about that? Absolutely not. But the white boys are a lot deeper, and the woods will smash them if they were to try to, we will accept a skinhead to come to our side and reform, and then he can earn that shit that he got on the streets. We will give him the benefit of the doubt if he is solid, if he has been on the yard, and if the dude is respected. If he's some Willie Lump, he ain't got nothing coming, and they'll cut it off of him, and that's facts. If some little hipster comes in with a swastika and he's not a skinhead and he's just a white boy, very rarely would that individual get the opportunity to put in work and earn that. For him being that ignorant and getting that and not knowing what it represents, they're going to inflict serious pain, and they're probably either A, going to cut his throat or try to cut it off or tattoo something vulgar over it. I mean, there has been some serious consequences to pay for getting fraudulent political heat.
What's the difference, can you just explain to people, between a solid teardrop under the eye and a clear teardrop under the eye, an outline?
So back in the day, if it was solid, it meant you killed somebody, and if it was clear, it meant that you had lost somebody in your organization or your gang. Now you got so many youngsters just getting a teardrop because they think it's cool. Same thing with a spider web. A spider web forever represented how many years that you had done. Now people just get spider webs thrown on. You used to see the individuals that had crazy large webs, like they're lost in time. They're just rotting away. They're in the cobwebs. They're forgotten. And that was why that became a thing. And, just like anything, when things become trendy and society starts attaching themselves to it and starts trying to use it, they want to switch shit up because they want to be different. Why the swastika is used is because it's a feared symbol. Straight up. Not every Peckerwood is fucking racist. I say this constantly, and it might blow your mind that someone would have a swastika on them and not be racist, not have a racist bone in their body. But the fact of the matter is, some of these people grew up with having no anything, feeling like they belonged to anything. They didn't have a dad. They didn't know what race they were. They wanted to belong in a gang, but they weren't accepted. They never got accepted by girls. They just never accepted. So now you go to prison. The dude's wild. He's down. He's got heart. He's got camaraderie now. These brothers are accepting him. He's learning about himself and his culture and his people and how he came to this and why he climbed trees and why he was so adventurous as a kid. Because you were a white Aryan man. You're exploring. Like, they want to just force kids drugs. Let little kids be little kids. Kids explore. They do crazy shit. And when they find this, sense of, brotherhood, they want to attach themselves to it full force. And then when you have these things, this rank, and this rank is the top, of course, these dudes are trying to reach the top. And when that symbolism comes with it, and these dudes are doing, 10, 13 years, they don't see long term. It's hard to see 4 days ahead in the joint when you're doing 13 years. You feel like everything's over, and you want to be respected, and you want to have, all those things that everybody else has. You want the nice shoes and the nice watch. You want the cops to respect you and not fuck with your house. You want to get extra food when you go in the chow hall. You want nobody to fuck with you. You want 50 people following you and you being a leader. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be living like a king. Why would anybody want to be a peasant when they can fucking earn their way up and live like a king, if that makes sense? I tried to make it easier for someone to grasp that has never been incarcerated and forced to think like that. Everyone that thinks you would do something, or I would do this, or I would never fucking run with the white boys, I would be by myself. Well, you would die. Your family would get a call and you would be dead. Or you would be in the infirmary and you would live and they would be removing a broom mop stick out of your ass and you would have no more teeth and your face was probably ruptured in. And you're going to look different for the rest of your life for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Wow. J-Rock, you are so good at telling these stories. I think you should go and talk to school kids or young people. It would scare the shit out of them and maybe make them think twice about getting gangsteritis and getting involved in the drugs game. I salute you and I really appreciate your time. You've been so generous with your time today. We're at almost 2 hours here. So all the people watching this who've enjoyed this video, please support J-Rock. Go down to that description box below this video, click on his channel, subscribe, check his stuff out, comment, like, share his videos. Please send me an email with all of your social media links, J-Rock, and I shall put all of those down there in the description box. Now, say someone wanted to contact you, what would your preferred platform or preferred way of people getting in contact you be?
First and foremost, thank you. You're amazing, brother. I'm really proud of what you're doing. As far as the kids, what you were saying, the same juvenile hall that I served twice in when I was young, I had a woman contact me from seeing my videos, and we're trying to get something in the works to where I can speak in front of these kids. I've been off paper now for almost 5 years, and she thinks that we're going to be able to get the ball rolling. I'm really proud of that. I think that if I would have seen someone that looked like me and kind of talked like me, I think it would have affected me positively when I was young. So I hope that I can have an impact there. I wanted to say real quick to your subscribers, if any of you guys are interested in my dog content, I know how, Englishmen are about their dogs, and I love it. If you guys are interested, check out my YouTube channel, Consistent Kennels. That's my dog content. My main channel is J-Rock Talks. As he said before, the links will be in the description. You can email me. You can contact me at consistentkennels@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Instagram at consistent_kennels. It's consistent with an E. I know I shouldn't have to say that, but I get 5 comments a day saying, I can't find you. And they're spelling consistent with an A. But use your smartphone, people. I appreciate you guys. Big love.
Yeah, Wildman's going to love you. He loves dogs, and his favorite job in prison was being a dog handler. So yeah, I'm going to definitely hook you up with Wildman as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, please also subscribe to my channel. Subscription logo is in the bottom right-hand corner. It's free to subscribe to our channels. It helps us on YouTube grow and get our stuff pushed out by the algorithm. Huge thank you to all the people who have subscribed, and all the people who've donated on PayPal, Patreon, Just Giving. All those links are in the description box below this video. You've helped the production of the True Crime Podcast, fully recorded in studios with sound engineers and cameramen and all that stuff. You've helped me set up this home studio. Really appreciate what you've done for the channel, and wishing everybody a great 2020, and we're looking forward to bringing more great content to the channel like this, like with J-Rock. So cheers from London. Take care out there.